Navy Federal Credit Union declines more than 50% of Black applicants. I know this is a crazy story that we read on CNN, and I know we're all thinking, is this racism? Is it classism? Is it some type of systemic injustice? Like, what is going on here? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you a perspective that almost no one would be able to share with you. Let's go.
Noel. Yeah, she can fix that. You gotta get it done, all you need to do it better. Well, she can fix that. Yeah, she can fix that. Investment to get back, trying to get a big stack. She can fix that. Let's fix that.
Okay, let's get into this because as a former mortgage banking professional, in fact, I was a mortgage underwriter for many years, and then I even worked as a vice president at Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Chase. I've worked in the mortgage origination side, and I've even worked on the back end in servicing. So I'm going to share with you why Black Americans are getting turned out at such a high number, share with you some real statistics, some real history, but more importantly, we're going to talk about a real solution. As you may know, Navy Federal Credit Union is the nation's largest credit union. Serving more than over 100,000 veterans, this credit union was initially established for Navy veterans, but now it is open to the family members, other service members, and all different facets of the military, every branch. So it is crazy to hear that they have turned down more than 50% of Black applicants in 2022, while at the same time approving more than 75% of white applicants for the exact same loans. So again, when you first hear these statistics and you read this story, I know you're thinking this must be racism. And I'm going to talk to you about if it is, because there is a little bit of there in there, but I'm going to talk to you about why that is and again, what the solution is. So let's go back and let me give you a little bit of a history. So when it comes to mortgage financing, we already know that home ownership in America is the #1 way to wealth. It has created generational wealth by passing down homes and equity and appreciation that homes get to generation after generation. But there's some history in America that we have to talk about, and it is not pretty. So let's get to it. Redlining. Redlining was a discriminatory practice practiced throughout the United States in the Jim Crow era. So basically after World War II, when there was actually laws that prohibited Black people and white people from being together in areas, in restaurants, in bathrooms, all different types of stuff. So redlining was actually where mortgage lenders, banks, lenders would redline areas that they would not lend in. This harmed Black people because the areas that they lived in, they could not get loans in. That's one thing. Number two, blockbusting. So after the Civil Rights Act of 1968, a lot of the fair housing laws started to come into play, and many people had to be able to sell homes to any person regardless of their race. However, many people would band together, maybe white people, and would not sell their homes to Black people, to minorities, and other groups like that. This really hurt Black home ownership because if they wanted a home in a nice area with a good school, for example, no one would sell them a home there. And in some cases, they were actually barred or prohibited from lending or loaning or selling their house to a non-white person. Again, Black people, Latinos, other minorities. This again added to the problem. Number three, restrictive covenants. So you may be familiar with a town called Levittown in New York. It is a very culturally popular subdivision about mass-produced homes. It actually was an amazing story of how this builder was able to mass-produce all of these homes in New York. And again, I'm nerding out a little bit on you. I do have a master's degree in economic development from Penn State. Not bragging, just really letting you know that this is a very important subdivision. This subdivision mass-produced homes, but there was restrictive covenants that barred the homeowners or the builder from selling to non-whites, and then additionally from people that own the homes from reselling it to non-whites, and the absolute prohibition of renting the homes to non-whites. Therefore, Levittown became like this cultural icon of a very suburban, white, bland, homogenetic area where it was just all whites, all middle class, all Protestant, all had the same religion, no diversity whatsoever. But this again was very popular, and this was one of the most successful subdivisions, and other subdivisions would follow in how they made those covenants, and again barring even more Black people and minority from being able to own homes. Let me fast forward.
It's time for you to come to sunny Orlando, Florida, and learn about real estate, about business credit, and take yourself to the next level. get out of the cold, get out of your house, get off the computer, and come see me in Orlando, Florida for New Res Tours, February 24th, 2024 in sunny, beautiful Orlando, Florida. Come see me, come learn, come change your life. It's time. I want you to learn. I have all the resources, all the tools, and all of the knowledge that you need to be successful. But you got to leave your house and come see me, and let's do this. Click the link below and get your tickets before it's sold out. It is time. Let's go.
So then once we had the GI Bill, which allowed veterans after World War II to get low interest rate mortgages, they were able to get mortgages with a little bit of money down. At the time of Levittown, it really was only $400 that was needed for a down payment, which in today's numbers is like $5,400, still super low as a down payment. And again, so they were able to buy homes that were going up in value and then keep their kids in nice stable areas, good schools, nice tax base. And it really helped white people that were able to buy homes take themselves to the next level. And at the same time, it kept black people and minorities kept in a much lower social status in America. They were not able to participate in this. They weren't able to get loans. Again, redlining, blockbusting, and covenant restrictions all adds up to how we get to Navy Federal Credit Union today. So one, now we have where blacks were left out of the system. So guess what? Even though this discrimination was very intentional, over time, and as they changed the laws, it became very unintentional. Because black people were not allowed to be in the process, they have no knowledge of how to navigate the mortgage process. So now when you fast forward decades later, black people are still having trouble getting approved for mortgages and participating in home ownership because of some of this legacy type of stuff and just lack of knowledge of the process. And because if you have lack of knowledge of the process, that also makes black people and minorities kind of afraid of the process. They're not as knowledgeable. They don't know how to navigate. They don't have any history. They have no grandma and granddad to ask. So it really all just culminates in this really, really big issue. Another issue is bias. Let's really talk about that. Mortgage loans are actually underwritten by people. Like I said, they do have systems like DU, which stands for Desktop Underwriter, and LP, which stands for Loan Prospector. I won't nerd out on you. Like I said, I literally was a mortgage underwriter, and I still have what's called my DE certification, which allows me to underwrite FHA loans. So long story short, as I grew in this business, I was a mortgage underwriter. I would literally look at people's applications and I would approve or decline them. As I grew in the company, I became a mortgage underwriting manager and then a VP. But some of the people that were in the business, most of the underwriters were actually still non-whites. So not only was the mortgage industry, like home ownership dominated by white people, but also the approval process of how the loans got approved were dominated by white people. And many of them had those same biases that black people would not repay the mortgages, that they were not saving appropriately, that they were high risk. And literally, I actually saw with my own two eyes overt racism, literally applications that said names that were typically black, like Lakeisha, Laquanda, or Laquan, or Tyshawn. They would literally be in the meeting tearing those loans apart and making up reasons why they thought the person could not pay, even if it was approved. Or again, like I said, they would add conditions to the loans. So once your loan is approved for a mortgage in the process, you get what's called a conditional approval. And this would have conditions that the borrower has to submit. Maybe you need more W-2s. Maybe you need another year of tax returns. Maybe you need another bank statement. Again, conditions. Well, in many cases, the loan applications that had traditionally black names would have a laundry list of conditions that were really hard to meet, while Joe Schmo with, Smith would have a much shorter list. And because of some of the disclosures, you have to disclose whether you are black, white, Hispanic, Latino, because again, this is how we found out that Navy Federal Credit Union was not lending to black people. They have to report that data. And if you put decline to answer, here's a big secret, the loan officer puts what your race is. But I'm going to take it even further. You have to submit your driver's license. So therefore, the underwriter could literally see what your race was. They could see your sex. They could see where you live, and they could make these, sometimes unintentional bias decisions and sometimes outright bias decisions to turn the loan down. And that's how we got here where we are today. Navy Federal Credit Union is being called out for being this lender that declined so many loans. But I am telling you up front, Bank of America has that problem, Chase has that problem, and Wells Fargo has that problem. I literally work there. I have no ties or affiliates. They can't say anything to me. And that's why I'm telling you the truth. They still have these systemic issues to this day and these biases that are built into the mortgage process that are still harming minority borrowers. So let's talk about how we can fix it. The solution to this is we have to start educating ourselves and we have to start speaking up. I literally have known people that have gotten declined by a lender and I was able to help them get approved at another lender and help them go through the conditions. Many times as Black people, I can say that there are Black people that are contributing by just giving up on the process. In many cases, when they get that conditional approval back with that laundry list of conditions, they just wipe their hands and they never send in the conditions. That is not the answer. You must fight. You must send in the documentation. You must keep going. Don't just give up. You have to know that there are unintentional and intentional biases built in the process, and you cannot be a victim of that. I am saying this to you as an African American female. I started broke, bankrupt, bad credit. I too have been declined for loans. I too have declined people that I thought should have gotten approved. But the process is the process, and we have to work within the system that we have. And in many cases, it is literally Black people taking themselves out of the process. And that is the easiest way to start fighting against it. The second thing is start getting connected with professionals. There are so many Black people and minority people and even white people that advocate to help minorities get approved. Don't think that everyone is against you. We really have to rally around this. This video is not just for Black people or Latinos. This is for everyone. We can band together. All white people are not racist and have biases to decline loans, just like all Black people shouldn't just get approved for mortgages. There definitely is some middle ground and we can work together, but we have to start advocating, we have to start moving forward, and we have to realize the importance of home ownership. I hear all these gurus telling Black people and telling different people, oh, don't buy a house. Sorry, that's not for this group. This group needs home ownership. This is going to be the vehicles that change this whole community. So do not take yourself out of that process. If you are a Black person and you think that you want a home, get in the game, get you a home, and start investing in real estate. It's the #1 way to wealth. Do not let them victimize you. I have a gift for you because I believe that readers are leaders. Like I said, you can get all 4 of my books on real estate, on business, on investing in real estate, and starting your own business absolutely free. You just cover the shipping. Go to noellsbookoffer.com and get all 4 of my books, and more importantly, read them. We can change our entire future. You can help other people get approved for mortgages, and we can all work together to improve the entire life of this nation. Go to noellsbookoffer.com, get your books, read them, and let's know that we are stronger together. I just want to make sure that you have all of the resources, all of the tools, and all of the knowledge that you need to be successful. This is Noelle. To your success.